Yo, 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 you tuning in to the Notion Podcast. I'm your host, Dspill. I hope y'all doing well. I hope everybody's doing well. Everybody can't say that every day. I know we all have the stresses of life, trials and tribulations and things of that nature. Before we get started and we get into a action-packed week, I must say, I definitely want to say thank you to our current subscribers, and I definitely appreciate the new subscribers that we've been receiving. We've been getting a lot of love, been seeing the numbers go up. A lot more people are engaging, and I just want to say that we appreciate it. I appreciate it, and I want to promise you that, you guys keep doing that and you keep showing your support. I won't try my best. I promise to give you the best content that we could possibly give to you guys. So just continue to support. It's helping in a major way. It's all a group effort. You know what I'm saying? Can't do a whole bunch of things by ourselves, but we can accomplish a lot together. So yeah, let me just get started, man. I gotta get my drink because, man, it has been a crazy. I know you can barely hear me. I gotta get my drink. It's been a crazy week. Crazy week. Okay, let's get that right there. So yeah, man. Where do I start? You know where I want to start. I want to start with Dame Dash. Now, for younger people that may not be familiar, Dame Dash is definitely a legendary producer and entrepreneur. And he has been very vocal over his career, especially the past few years, about being your own boss, doing what you want to do, and things like that. He is a legend mainly because he basically helped put the groundwork down brick by brick with Jay-Z to build Rockefeller, which, they separated. Jay-Z, basically took majority the ownership and rebranded to Rock Nation and all of that. But Dame Dash is a very big deal in the rap and hip hop community and culture. And he's done a lot with his expertise and his hustle. He's in the news right now. I don't know. Dame Dash low on cash, man. Apparently Dame Dash is going through more money issues. There was something in the past about him losing a house, and that got blown up. But celebrities lose houses all the time. They go into bankruptcy all the time, but really have holding companies. Y'all know the drill. Y'all listen to the Boss Talks. But yeah, Dame Dash is ordered to sell his film studio and streaming network. From what I'm reading, Dame Dash financial downfall has deepened. A federal judge in New York has ordered the sale of assets tied to the Dame Dash Group, his business held entirely under his wife Raquel Horn's name, to settle a debt stemming from a 2019 copyright lawsuit. All Hip Hop broke the news, and then, it kind of just trickled from there. This is really unfortunate. One of the reasons why I wanted to bring this up was, a lot of hip hop cats and Dame kind of had his arrogant way of doing things. Not to say that he was lying. It's just he told the truth with arrogance. The thing about Dame Dash, and that a lot of entrepreneurs don't tell younger people coming up or people that are really inspired by them, is it's one thing to be an owner, but there's a heavy responsibility to be an owner and be your own boss. And what I mean by that is, financial literacy is very important. You hear people talking about making money, investing, of course, the infamous buy jewelry and all that stuff when you get money or things start popping for you. We've seen the downfall of that. But one of the things that I wanted to share, just from my understanding and what I try to practice as much as I can, it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep. And when we talk about being a boss, being an owner, in order to sustain and stay afloat through tough times, you have to make sure that you have, liquid cash and assets to be able to stay afloat. And so my message to people out there, when you look at Dame Dash's situation, because this isn't something that just came out of nowhere. Over the years, mainly after he split from Jay-Z, you just seen kind of a downgrade as far as in what he's been able to do. He's never came out with another Jay-Z. He hasn't really had a superstar artist since around those times, but that doesn't mean that, he couldn't make money. But somewhere down the line, it looks like Dame didn't manage his money that well, and now he's in the situation that he's in. So my message to y'all, just learning from a whole bunch of billionaires and millionaires, they talk and they have, now they have these memes with all this music, and it just has you fired up. Like I can do my own thing. Save. Always save. It's not like when you look at people's network, don't get excited. Oh man, let's say net worth. When you look at people's net worth, don't get so excited because you will see, oh, this person's worth 1.2 billion. That doesn't mean they have 1.2 billion. That means they have 1.2 billion in assets, right? This person makes 500K. For y'all ladies out there that have super high standards, you shouldn't be looking at a guy and saying, oh, well, he makes six figures. He makes 500K or 600K a year. Yeah, but how much does he have in the bank? Because what if that person they make 500K or 600K a year, but they only have 5,000 in their savings and 2,000 in their checking? What you doing with that? That's all the money out of the bank if y'all want to go to Dubai, and and still not enough. So, that's just my take on that. I hope he bounces back. I'm not really one of the type to kick people while they're down, but man, best of luck, Dame Dash. Another thing, I'm gonna say this for last. Another thing I wanted to talk about was DDG and his ex-girlfriend, child of his mother, Halle Bailey. So basically, she filed a restraining order on him, which was granted. Apparently, he found out midstream on when he was streaming. That's kind of wild. And apparently, he's been very abusive. It looks like, she chipped her tooth. He chipped her tooth. He was physical with her. She had a bruise on her arm. He's made some threats about the child, about, seeing the child and things of that nature. So she did her thing. She ended up doing her thing and got that restraining order. I think situations like these are unfortunate. And one of the reasons why I think they're so unfortunate is because a lot of times what happens is, you guys remember, they got together and then that became a conversation. And then she allegedly she got pregnant because they have a kid now. And then, her and her sister and fans were trying to like protect her pregnancy or whatever. I don't know what that was about. And then she had the baby and, it seemed like they were still rocking. And I'm just looking at certain scenarios like Halle Bailey and even Keke Palmer. And these ladies seem like they have a good head on their shoulders. They seem like they, I don't want to say super innocent, but, they're not known for all the wrong reasons. And, I'm older than them by some years. And my thing is, I hate to see young women or just women in general be in these positions that they don't have to be in. And they obviously picked the wrong guy because they have a child and there's no marriage in sight. And I know we live in a time where people want to bash and downplay marriage, but, mother and father in the household and marriage is statistically going to produce a better child for society. Now, you take it however you want it. I'm saying statistically, there are some people that didn't grow up in a two-parent household that are amazing and huge contributors to society, where I'm just saying statistically. So, trying to aim for the stars so you can land on the clouds if you fall doesn't sound like a bad idea to me. But I just think that situation is unfortunate. A lot of times the internet picks sides. I side-eye a lot of stories. If I hear something that just sounds wild, I side-eye it. Do I think that she's lying? I mean, judging by the evidence, it clearly looks like she's not. Do I think he's lying? Well, I wasn't there. I don't know the dude that well, so I don't know about him. But the reason why I pose that question is because DDG had got online and was trying to do some timelines and trying to call her out, accusing her of lying about, the abuse. But I mean, she was able to convince a judge. The person that really loses in this situation, and I know it sounds cliche, is the child. So hopefully they could get that together, and hopefully they could start, rocking a little bit better and have a better dynamic. I would love to see more young black families together. I hate seeing right now in the stories of entertainment, people that have been very influential. Everything that I'm reporting to you guys is like kind of terrible news, but it's news and it's what people are talking about. I'm just trying to give a different spin, on a lot of these topics and just try to give you guys an example of maybe what you guys can learn from. Right now, I'm gonna be real. The way that black men are looking in the media right now, as far as in the entertainment sector, is saddening and it's unfortunate. And it just continues to perpetuate that picture that they paint of us on the news, on social media, in society. It helps fuel racism. And it just perpetuates that stereotype that's not really us. For another example, Chris Brown. For y'all that know, Chris Brown got locked up. Apparently, so when I first seen the article, and I'm gonna pull up the information on this article. So Chris Brown arrested in England over alleged bottle tossing incident. Now, he definitely didn't toss no bottle. That was not the case. It looks like what really happened. Well, what I originally read was that he had, hit a producer with a bottle in the club over a disagreement or something like that. But I thought this recently happened. Apparently this happened 2019 or something. Let me get this straight. It was years ago. I want to say in 2019 he did this. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. 2023. I'm tripping. So apparently he did this in 2023, fled the scene, didn't get arrested, and then thought he could just pull back up some years later and they forgot. Nah, run that back, homeboy. We're going to go ahead and lock you down. And you're in another country, bro. So I've always hated seeing Chris Brown in the news ever since the Rihanna thing, because he's never been able to outrun that, and unfortunately his reputation will not outlive that. And bro, I don't know if he's taking any anger management classes or what, but it sounds like you want to get back to whatever it is you were doing when you were on a better path, Chris. It's just unfortunate. Again, it's a young black man. He's not too much younger than me, and look at the image right now. This is perfect for all the man haters, all the black man haters. I know they're having a field day on YouTube right now, just between, just from all these stories, and they're able to correlate it with, see, black men, even though they're all entertainers. A lot of them still, have always had like the same kind of track record or police record. And it's just unfortunate that, just a handful of us get to be the representation of us. That's one of the reasons why we have this platform, to have a real conversation and try to and switch the narrative. But it's hard to do sometimes when you got brothers like this getting in trouble. For me, we get flack for coming down with an iron fist on the sisters about certain conversations and decisions that they make, but I am not shy about getting on these brothers, because at the same time, that's a contribution to the negativity that we're producing. When we're not in the young men's life and they don't have a inspiration or something to look up to or someone to look up to, or this is the only people we have to look up to, people that are getting themselves in trouble, that are so influential, you have a lost generation, and you have a group of potential. So again, Chris Brown, I ain't gonna kick you while you down, brother. I just hope that you get it together. Very talented dude. He's been labeled the second coming of Michael Jackson when Michael Jackson was still here. I think he has a lot to offer the world, and still to offer as far as in music and entertainment. It's just, brother, man, stay out of trouble. Stay away from the games and the drama, man. It's not worth it, bro. Like, I don't know. Some of the things that I see celebrities get in trouble for, it bothers me, because it's like, y'all too rich for that. When I see celebrities go down for regular people problems, it's like, you're too rich for that. You should be too smart for that, but you're too rich or wealthy to get yourself in these situations. DDG is very rich. Chris Brown is very rich, if not wealthy, probably on the wealthy end. And it's like, for what? For what? Hitting somebody with a bottle, for what? You shouldn't even have people around you that's going to make you so mad that you even want to hit them. You shouldn't even be dealing with those type of people. So it's like, for what? DDG, for what, bro? For what? I don't get it. But that's the climate, man. And I'm not having the best time having to report all of these different things. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Do you guys, ladies and gentlemen, do you guys believe that Halle Bailey, was fighting with DDG more than being, assaulted? Do you think Chris Brown, do you think he really just need to get it together? What's going on? Like, let me know what you think. I know some of y'all ladies don't even want to. I already know y'all going to try to drag Chris Brown because of what he did to Riri years ago. But just on an honest opinion, like, do you think these celebrities have too much pressure on their shoulders, or do you think they're not having the right people around them and getting the proper therapy to be able to handle themselves in this situation? Y'all let me know what you think. Definitely blow up the comment section with that, because I would love to hear y'all takes or read y'all takes, however it's done. Oh man. Tory Lanez. The Tory Lanez situation for me is very frustrating. And the reason why it's very frustrating is because I think Megan Thee Stallion is talented. I think she's eclipsed people that we still have on the pedestal as far as in music. And I think Tory Lanez is phenomenal, for somebody that can sing and rap. I've always envied people that can sing. I'm a rapper. I've been rapping. I love hip hop. But if I could pick between rapping and singing, it probably would have been singing, man. Singers even get away with drama. We just got done talking about Chris Brown. A lot of y'all forgave him. The singers they just smooth, man. But I look at the Tory Lanez situation, and I just feel like when he went down the way he went down, I didn't believe he did it. I'm gonna just keep it real. I'll take a drink to that. I never believed that he was the one that popped Meg. And why he decided to be a RN, a real, why he decided to do that and take the fall for it, I don't know. But the crazy thing was, what I didn't like about the situation, and what I don't like about it now, I don't like them spinning the narrative. When Meg Thee Stallion first came out with her stream and said, I was trying to protect the black man because of everything that was going on with black men. Yeah. And then, when things got more intense, she wasn't, she was a full 100% victim. And then I don't even know if Tory Lanez really said this. I don't know how he would, seeing that he's recovering in critical condition from the incident that happened in prison, the stabbing. But apparently there's something going around saying the same thing. But maybe this wasn't said while he's being locked up. I think this was said before he got locked up. But apparently he said, I was just trying to protect two black women. I didn't want to take, two women out of their daughters' lives. I just couldn't live with that. I lost my mom when I was 11. Now, I could see that being true and him having some empathy. But the crazy thing about black folks, right, and these two black folks is an example, is I was trying to protect. But then when your public image was on the line, you wasn't trying to protect nothing but yours. And that goes for Meg, and that goes for Tory Lanez, if Tory Lanez really said that. Now, him getting stabbed over, I guess, 10 times, for that to happen to him, for all of the true evidence to come out and people and whistleblowers to come out, is astonishing to me. And that's one of the biggest issues I have with our community. We always want to step in when it gets the worst. You always want to step in when the ticket is way too high or way too expensive. And I don't understand that. So apparently Meg's best friend's bodyguard is confessing, and sharing his take and saying, from his experience that it was, I guess her name is Kelcey, that Kelcey shot Meg and it wasn't Tory. Now, this is what really pisses me off, the internet, because a lot of my energy be focused on y'all. It's the most authentic response we're going to get is the internet. What pissed me off is a lot of the ladies, these same women that probably were the ones that were like, Tory did it, y'all black men are tripping, this is why black women are disrespected and la, 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 la. Even though black women are disrespected and they're not appreciated, I don't like when people pull that narrative into a separate incident. And so we heard all of that when the trial was going on and when things were going on between Tory and Meg, right? But the crazy thing is now that there seems like there's more evidence and he could get out and people are willing to step up and try to retrial or try to figure something out to get Tory out. Now everybody's talking about, oh, well, yeah, he's stupid he should be locked up in there if he's going to take the fall, or wow, why would he do that? Or that was dumb. And no. Y'all should be standing on that hill and believing that he didn't do it regardless of who said it, because y'all believed he was guilty before he was actually, found guilty. So now we're going to go around and I can't stand that bandwagon argument when people do that. But I'm talking to the women that was saying he was guilty before he was actually found guilty. Now it looks like it's a high probability that he's going to be able to prove he was innocent. And now you want to criticize him for taking a fall when in your heart and in your gut feeling you believed he did it. Black people, I swear we need to do better. We gotta pick one. Either we're gonna unify or make sense when we disagree. You gotta pick one. Y'all really gotta pick one, man. I gotta take another sip of apple juice. Man, that one pissed me off. If they're able to prove that Tory didn't do it, because a part of me felt like he didn't. Even when I seen the Gayle King interview, there was just things that I didn't believe from Meg. And you know what, women, I'll admit it. A lot of times, men can be wrong when we don't believe. We can be wrong, and it can be detrimental, and it has been detrimental to the culture. But in this instance, it doesn't look like we were wrong. Even a lot of women kind of didn't believe Meg too. And then all the rappers that came out, Bun B and everybody, oh man, we gotta protect black women and this, that, and the other. Man, if they're able to prove that he didn't do it, and they got more evidence on top of the confession from the security guard, man, a lot of y'all got to eat y'all words. And don't move the goalposts and make it about anything else. But, man, if he's able to prove that and he's able to get out, that's going to suck, because it's like, dude just took a massive and almost lost his life incident, but took a massive hit in prison. And it's just like, bruh, I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just think that I just think that, man, I hate that situation. I don't like a lot of these situations. I don't like a lot of these situations, but the Tory Lanez thing, I just believe that he didn't do it. The story sounded weird. A lot of things didn't even make sense of why there was even tension like that until the story came out. And then even when the story came out, I was like, why did it escalate to that? There was even 2B movies made about the situation. It's just, I don't know. Man. It just, it threw me off. It definitely threw me off. But what was throwing me off more than anything was the backpedaling. Like Deion Sanders in the Super Bowl, the backpedaling from a lot of women that believed in their heart. And now that it looked like there's facts coming out, now he's done for taking the fall. I guess. I don't know. I hope you get out, Tory, if you're innocent and you're able to prove it. But yeah. Whew. Yeah, that's some weirdo stuff, man. I'm gonna get to it. I'm getting there. It's just so much information. I know what everybody's talking about. I know that it's wild out there. All right. And I'm gonna spend some time on this. I'm gonna spend some time on this. Sean Puffy Combs, we all know the trial started, okay? And out the gate was just madness. I got my notes right here because it's just so much that was said, and it's just so much damn. That's all I'm gonna just say is just like damn. Now, before I get into it, I'm gonna ask y'all something. Y'all can leave comments or whatever, but I gotta ask you guys something. And this is gonna be divided. So I got a couple questions for you guys. Do you think that Diddy's 100% guilty of everything and that everything that everybody's saying is 100% true? That's my first question. My second question is, do you think that Cassie is 100% a victim, or do you think she was a willing participant, victim, and possibly had her own victims? Or do you think she's, just what do you think? What about those options? Let me know what you think. And then yeah, man. My other one is are you team are you team Diddler or are you team Cassie? Let me see that in the comments and just let me know what you think on that one. Before I get into it, man, please like, subscribe if you haven't. If this is your first time watching the Notion podcast, checking us out. Like, subscribe, turn the notifications on at the bell. However you're tuning in, please follow. We appreciate your support in advance. Anyways, getting into it, the opening statements on these last few days this week and the allegations are wild. And let me just jump into this real quick for y'all that are not following. All right. They opened the gate with Diddy, of course, was abusive. Apparently, he made Cassie sit in a blow-up pool of baby oil. Male escort says Cassie requested golden shower during freak off. That was part of the opening defense, and I'm just like, wait, what? And then what I didn't like is the putting words in Cassie's mouth. So when a golden shower situation popped up, and everybody was talking about it on the internet, there was a lot of women saying, of course, Diddy made her accept it, and da-da-da-da-da. Y'all weren't there. Just like we can't prove that Diddy didn't do that, y'all weren't there to prove that he did. Like, this is why they pick jurors, and this is why we have a court system, because the court of public opinion would find so many people guilty that are not guilty, and so many people let them run free that are really guilty. Just public opinion is the worst courtroom to be in. So that there was that one. Cassie claims during freak offs, men would release their baby gravy on her, and then she would go rub it on Diddy, on his nipples. I'm not making this up. But yeah, apparently, yeah, they was playing with men's baby gravy together, and I was just like, wait, what? This is nasty. And of course, she was crying and hysterical on the stand because she's pregnant right now and things of that nature. Apparently, she didn't take the stand like by choice. Apparently, she was subpoenaed. Let's see. And then it says Diddy's defense team, shared text messages of Cassie texting to Diddy that she's always down for a freak off. People interpreted that as, kind of like a, not a Stockholm syndrome, but like programming her to believe that she likes it. Maybe a reverse gaslight. I don't know. But basically, there was that. And then Cassie claims that in 2018, Diddy raped her while she was dating her now husband. She also admitted to seeing him the next day. So she went to go see Diddy while she was still dealing with her current husband. And then he forced her into some action, and then she showed up the next day. I don't know. Everything that I just read, it just sounds either crazy or it sounds like there could be some contradiction to it. But I guess the first day when everything was being read, I thought it was unfortunate that his family dipped out. Not that we should be feeling sorry for Diddy, even though he still needs to be proven guilty, even though we all believe he's guilty of half of that, at least. Innocent until proven guilty. And I did think it was kind of sad, like, damn, your family walked out. And who knows, this family could have walked out because they just couldn't hear any of that. I mean, his daughters were there, or they just could have walked out in pure disgust. But either way, I just think it's a terrible situation because it's definitely going to put a strain and a wedge in between this family, a father and their kids at the end of the day. I know what y'all going to say. You should have thought about your kids before, when you was doing it. But still, these kids still lost their mom, and it's just, it's crazy. So, yeah, that happened with the trial. I also thought that it was interesting, like some of the things that kind of came up. Like, for starters, Diddy's lawyer played audio of Cassie allegedly threatening to kill Diddy over him, possibly leaking their freak off tape. I thought that was wild. Again, people are going to pick a side, but I'm going to give you my take. Just recently, Choke No Joke, famous guy that's been in the industry, known in the industry. I think he rolled with The Rock, Jay-Z and them, did video content and stuff like that way back in the day. He gave a very controversial perspective. He said that, and I thought about this too. I've made this connection when all this stuff came out. But he said that Cassie is probably a victim. He's not saying that she's not, but she also was there for the benefits. His take was Cassie was there and she just climbed the corporate ladder because she was with Ryan Leslie. And he gave a very interesting question. He said, now, what could have Ryan Leslie do to make her leave him and go off and be with Diddy and tolerate all the stuff that Diddy did? And he said, status, money. She upgraded. She climbed the corporate ladder. So she was enjoying the benefits and the money. And I believe that in a lot of cases. With this case, it seems like it's more than just money, and I'll explain later. But with Cassie, I did feel like she kind of like played the opportunist route when she first started out, because Ryan Leslie was solid, on top of the fact of him being a dope producer, this dude was very intelligent, went to Harvard, and I think they were dating. Diddy came in, just snatched her up, whatever. But he produced Me and You. He produced Way to Go or A Long Way to Go, whatever that second single was. And I always found that interesting. And then she, like I said, dips off and goes with Diddy. Diddy puts her under one of the craziest contracts ever known to man, a 10-album contract. I think the only person that ever knocked out 10 albums on one label was LL Cool J, and I don't think they signed him to 10. So Diddy was crazy on that. But hey, Bad Boy Entertainment for a reason, I guess, right? But it did feel like, she moved up. And even coming to find out, the settlement was like $20 million. That came out. It's like, yo, that's somebody's NFL contract. That's a damn good NFL contract, right? And I from my perspective, I agree with Choke No Joke as far as in she was accepting the benefits, and that would make it hard for a person to leave if you value something more than other things. Some people value the person over themselves, so they'll let them treat them any type of way. Some people value the money over their morals, so they'll live in a certain kind of condition and subject themselves to certain things that they're not normally used to, even morally. So when I look at that type of stuff, I do believe that more people are in it than they say they are. I do know and believe that it's hard for women to leave, and plenty of women are afraid to leave. But I do think that a lot of women wouldn't tolerate that if it was a regular guy. If it was some dude you just started dating, or, I think more women would not tolerate it as much as the statistics of what you probably believe. And I just stand on that. I believe that. In Diddy and Cassie's case, I feel like Cassie is just exposing with her testimony. I think a lot of this stuff really happened. I do think Diddy is like a grandmaster freak off presenter. And but the crazy thing is freak offs aren't a crime. Freak off parties are not a crime. Now, the way that they're doing the whole, trafficking thing and stuff like that, I could connect those dots and understand how he could get charged for something like that. Again, you got to have proof. I mean, technically, that's what Shannon Sharp and this little white girl is going through. He basically, in a sense, was doing the same thing that they're trying to charge Diddy for. So I get that, but in my opinion, from my standpoint, I just believe that Cassie was with that straight up. I think she was with it. I think one of the reasons that helped her leave Ryan Leslie was because she was into the freaky type of stuff. And I think that she got with Diddy and they was into some wild things and she was down with it. She's with a rich mogul and she's attracted to him and she's hoping her career is going to take off. And they was down with some freaky stuff. And I think a line got crossed. I do. I think it was consensual to a certain degree, and then a certain degree, and I feel like the line got crossed. And then she was like, whoa, I didn't know that the abyss was like this. You know what I'm saying? And then it was pretty much too late at that point. And just like anything, it's just like somebody getting in a game, getting in a street game or getting in a gang and everything is cool. You wear your colors or it's cool. You making your money. And then one day, somebody's child ain't here no more. Or one day, you get popped or one day, you're looking at a hefty prison sentence. And then everything's just like, whoa, I didn't realize. It could be the same thing with this. I do believe there was a point where she wanted to leave the situation maybe a little earlier than she actually did. I believe that happened because we grow up and we get older and we start realizing what's beneficial to us or what's more beneficial to other people. So I think she had a wake-up call, and I think that Diddy got a little aggressive about it. But I think that these assault cases, I think that what's really going on with at least half of them, I won't even say most of them, I think they're fighting each other, but it's being painted as this person assaulted me. This person did that to me. And I know that there's women out there that want to get upset and be like, oh, well, you the type that wouldn't believe and this, that. No, I do believe. And I've been in scenarios and I've defended black women in public when I seen certain things that wasn't right. I literally have done that. But there are also scenarios where women have been caught lying. And in this case, I don't think Cassie's lying. I just think she's more of a participant in these situations and in these stories than how she's painting it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying guilty. I'm not saying Diddy is, not guilty. But what I am saying is that I don't think everything that people are saying about him are just 100% true. I think people participated in it, and I think more people are involved in it than what's being presented right now. And you're probably going to hear about that more. But we've already heard about certain people. So some of the crazy stuff that I've been seeing that I think is crazy is now, I think this is crazy. Now they're saying that Diddy was messing with Lauren London, and he was messing with Lauren London while she was with Nipsey. And Lauren London's been around a long time, y'all. A long time. I'm going to tell you guys how long Lauren London's really been around. Most of y'all will say that Nunu from ATL was her introduction. My introduction to Lauren London was Frontin', the music video Frontin' with Pharrell and Jay-Z, the two girls that walk up to the door for Pharrell's party for the theme of the music video, is a beautiful chocolate sister and Lauren London, and she was a teenager at that time. I was in high school. That was a long time ago, and years before ATL, probably about 5 or 6 years before the ATL movie, if I'm not mistaken. And so I do think it's strange that people are now pushing the narrative that he was messing with. Now, if, court documents say that, I didn't get around to those. That'll be interesting because apparently that would be coming from Cassie, because Cassie has been name dropping other artists. And yeah, so now Lauren London's name has been thrown around, and now there's a conspiracy or Diddy had Nipsey set up. Bro, that was street politics. And not that I have any communication with the brother, like I used to years ago. I know somebody close to that situation who spoke on it, who I believe the details that he gave about Nip's situation. I don't think that had anything to do with Diddy. I just think y'all just taking stuff and running with it. Y'all be watching Black Mirrors and and everything on Netflix and just had these crazy conspiracy theories. I mean, it'll be a hell of a movie, a hypothetical movie. But man, I don't believe Diddy had anything to do with that. I don't care how y'all connected. Now, cause she had been messing with Diddy, there's a possibility. I haven't seen any reasons. I haven't seen any crazy TMZs or, any phone videos of catching them. But I don't think so. I mean, it's, when something happens to somebody, everybody just pile on every type of story you could think of. So no, I don't think that's true about Lauren London. They probably could have had some history, or maybe they could have been messing around if or when Nipsey had a break with her or something like that in their relationship, but I wouldn't play too much into that. I thought it was crazy that Nicki's name apparently got thrown under the bus about like telling Cassie to chill and just deal with it. Like, you're in a good spot. I thought that was crazy if that's true. But again, when it comes to these celebrities, I don't trust any of them past 80%. I got to leave 20% for the what if, or it might have been true about you. But it's Hollywood. There's a nickname for Hollywood. Y'all know what it is. A lot of C or B-list celebrities say Holly weird because they into some weird stuff. Rich people like some strange things. Not saying they're bad. Not saying they're bad people. But rich people and wealthy people are into some strange things. There's rich people that like stuffing animals. Things that used to be alive and just have them up in the house just 24/7. Rich people are into some weird stuff. So I can only imagine at these parties where that Pink Panther is getting thrown around and some of that drink is getting thrown around and some of them baby oils is getting thrown around, that something could probably go down. That will never, ever shock me. Think of the stuff you've seen as an average person at parties. What was going down and what you done walked into and what you participated in, right? Go look and just in your brain, just think about some wild parties you've been to in your tax bracket. You got money? You mean we can get some elephants and some, I'm just saying, they can make some wild stuff happen. So it's not going to shock me, but I don't trust hardly any of these celebrities about being the only one that wasn't in the room. I trust the ones that left before stuff got popping. Those are the ones I trust. But I don't think that this trial, I don't think that anybody is innocent. I think Diddy, whatever they find out about Diddy, he's the ringleader. And most of the people that are going to be implicated or directly involved were participants. Just statistically, bro, or just from human nature, it's very, very hard for you not to follow the crowd when you're in the crowd. What I mean by that is you can be a separate individual and you cannot be a follower. But when you're amongst the group that you have to deal with every day, that you have to see every day, you will conform to the culture. I have professional training experience when it comes to culture in the work field. I know this for a fact. I've been able to do things and exercises and projects in the workforce where we do things that literally have shifted the culture in the work environment. So what I'm saying is, in entertainment, they have a culture. And when you want to if you want somebody to trust you, and the way that you prove your trust is just like anything else, just like a gang, just like a fraternity, just like a secret society. You want to know what all of these things have in common? Different groups. You have to get dirt on your shirt in order to be trusted. You cannot walk into the group with a clean white outfit and for some reason the dust doesn't stick. That's what all these groups have in common. Even at your job, even on a corporate level, you have to have dirt on your shirt in order to be trusted. So you're never going to convince me that people that have attended Diddy's parties, people that have already heard of the shenanigans at Diddy's parties and still attended Diddy's parties were just there because the hors d'oeuvres were fire. You're not going to convince me. You're not going to convince me at all. Now, with that being said, I think we're going to get a very interesting trial. I don't think Diddy is guilty. Guilty. I don't think he's innocent. I think he's way more guilty than innocent of a lot of things. But I just believe he's 80% guilty of being nasty. The other 20% is, whatever he might get convicted for. But I think he's a 80%, 85% guilty is just being hella nasty, straight up. And I think Cassie is just as nasty. I'm not, no rhyme intended, but I think Cassie is just as nasty. I just also believe that she got in over her head, and when she wanted to bow out, it was made difficult for her by Diddy and his team and everybody else that, just wanted things to stay the way they were. Obviously, we're going to be talking about it, or I'm going to be talking about it as the weeks, keep playing out with this case. But yeah, y'all let me know what you think, man. Let me know what you think in the comments about all of this. I think it's crazy. One of the things that I hope stops, as in some generation, it might not be ours. I want a trend to stop, and I want that trend to go away where people wait 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years to tell the truth. I want more people. I'm raising kids. If something happened to my babies, I want somebody to tell right then and there. I don't want somebody to be like, yeah, man, I lived my whole life and I made it and everything, and I still feel guilty about that night that I didn't. Sir, I'm going to want to punch you in your face. As a parent, I'm going to want to punch you in your face. As a husband, I'm going to want to punch you in your face. As a son, as a friend, I'm going to want to punch you in your face if something happened to my loved one and you kept quiet for a check or whatever. You won't get my respect. You won't even get my respect for telling me. How about that? You won't even get my respect for telling me because you could have did something. You could have been the factor. You could have swayed the whole situation, possibly eliminated it, and you could have saved dozens of people. So I hope that culture goes away where people are coming back later and stating their case when, there could have been so many less victims. And I hope it becomes lame and uncool to already say somebody is guilty before going to court. There are some scenarios where but Black people, we have to be careful with that because it's a lot of us that are not guilty of a lot of things that get pinned on us, even when it comes to stereotypes. The majority of the behavior of the Black culture was not learned from other Black people. And you know what I mean when I say that. But we should be the last group of people that's publicly, forget personally, publicly getting out there and saying somebody is guilty of something without due process. Because we are guilty when we didn't do stuff that we're accused of at work. We are guilty of being the wrong type of people when we move into neighborhoods. We are guilty if somebody thinks we didn't pay for something. We are guilty when we get pulled over by the police. We are guilty for so many different things in this country and in today's society without due process and without a really good logical reason. So when we go in on our own people like that, regardless if we deep down inside feel that they're guilty, think about that. Really think about that. And we do it on all corners of the square, man. When we look at dating relationships between Black men and Black women, it's the same thing. Yes, I mean, y'all women is woo. Black men, these trials and these scenarios, the biggest message that I could give with this episode of the podcast is that look at how we do each other. We, like, other cultures look at us and they're like, look, we ain't even got to do nothing. We ain't even got to do nothing. All we got to do is you'll tell him that he said this about her, and tell her that she said this about her, and that she got it from him, and watch the whole thing fall down. When I bring up all of these stories and all of these scenarios, yes, these celebrities are a part of the culture, and yeah, they do have a responsibility because they're influential to carry themselves in a certain light. And yes, they do make decisions, but we play a different role too in the stuff that's going on, because we automatically deem a person as guilty. We automatically want the worst punishment because of how we personally feel or what trigger it pressed from our own personal experiences. We too casual with the self-hate. We too casual with that kind of attitude. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, y'all definitely got to let me know what y'all think, man. Leave comments. We're going to keep this thing going. This is going to be a very interesting process. There's a lot of court cases that are about to start or are in the process of happening for the people that I discussed. But definitely in the comment section, let me know what you think. And remember, you have to like and subscribe and turn on the notifications. It's going to help us out, and it's going to help you stay within the algorithm that we're flowing in right now, all right? But yeah, man, you got to let me know what you think about all of the crazy things and what's going on. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. And yes, you've been tuning in to the Notion Podcast with your boy, Dspill, your host. Let me know what you think. Until next time, peace.